This is Todd Owens with Capital Chaos TV, and we're here tonight at the Oakland Metro in Oakland, California with Away from the legendary Voivod. How you doing tonight, Away?
Oh, I'm great. This tour is a blast. Yeah, it's packed everywhere. We get along with all the bands. It's really quite a thrill.
Yeah, it's quite a lineup and quite a tour, and I guess you're doing 31 dates and 31 shows and 33 dates or something like that. So maybe any favorite bands on the tour with you? Or?
Well, I like them all, but I have a soft spot for Iron Reagan. But of course, I've always been a huge fan of Napalm Death. I have a lot of respect, and we sort of come from the same anarcho-metal type of thrash, you know, and so yeah, it's perfect. It's a perfect bill.
All right. And I guess you'll continue on this tour for a few more dates, and then.
Yeah, we have maybe 8 or 9 shows left, and then we go back to Montreal, and we have a 7-inch split 7-inch with At the Gates coming out in April. We're gonna do some more recordings for more split 7-inch, but we have Euro festivals and clubs in May and June as well.
Okay. Yeah, so that was one of my questions. We're going to ask about new material, because it's been, I guess, 2 years since your last full album came out, right back in 2013. Your 13th album, Target Earth. So you got new material coming out. So maybe a little more in depth about the At the Gate split.
Well, it's a song that's already online. It came out the first day of the tour in Miami. It's called We Are Connected. But the physical 7-inch is only coming out on April, and we want to release a bunch of these and then eventually write a big batch of songs and release and combine everything into an album in early 2016.
And what's your writing process like with the band? How do you come up with material and stuff like that? Is it just Blackie and Chewy? Are you all involved, or how's that collaborative?
The bulk of it is Chewy and Rocky, but we really do get involved at the jam space. It morphs into the real Voivodian stuff when everybody gets involved.
And I just want a quick question. I want to bring up a sore subject or a sad subject, but it's this summer will be 10 years since Denis passed, right? So any thoughts on him and his long-lasting influence and everything else?
I think about him every day. I mean, we had played music together since high school. When he passed away, it was not that obvious for me, because I used to have a daily call with him, a phone call where we would discuss Voivod and stuff. So it's a long process of mourning, but we try to keep his spirit intact in the new material.
Great. Just a quick question. Jason Newsted spent some time in the band, and maybe just a little quick comment on Jason. And do you still keep in touch with him, or?
Yes, of course. Actually, 2 years ago we played Hellfest, and Jason was playing as well on the other stage, and he came and played Voivod with us, which is great. We keep in touch with also Eric Forrest. Sometimes he sings Tribal Conviction when we play. He lives in Toulouse now, so when we play nearby, he comes on stage with us. So it's all a big family.
Another question I have, because I'm a longtime fan, so I'm always interested. Bands do cover songs and stuff like that, and you guys are known for doing some eclectic cover songs, I would say, more towards the progressive metal vein with King Crimson, and especially I'm a huge Pink Floyd fan, so just some thought what went into that. Was it somebody in the band, or were you all Floyd and progressive metal fans, or?
Yeah, everybody in the band is into prog rock, amongst other things. My favorite band of all time is Van der Graaf Generator. But when we decided to do the Pink Floyd song, we were all fans of Syd Barrett, but Piggy is a huge fan. He was a huge fan of David Gilmour. So we decided to do the Omaguma version, the live version.
Awesome. It's great stuff. Yeah, that's Trying to Be Domain, and then you did the Nile song as well, right? Yeah.
The Nile song as well on Outer Limits, that's right, yeah.
Great song choices. Just wanted to ask you about the early days a little bit. Go back in time, and it's, I guess, '82 when you guys formed the band, right? Or the band came together, and maybe just talk a little bit about the early days, influences, and what it was like, being a Canadian band as opposed to being in Europe or America.
The early days, we were very much influenced by the new wave of British heavy metal and hardcore, Discharge, Broken Bones, etc. Of course, we already had our prog rock roots because it was huge in Quebec, the progressive rock, and so I guess as we moved along, there were like other movements like what we called alternative, Killing Joke, Bauhaus, etc. That came into the mix as well, industrial music. So these were the early influences we had.
Was there kind of a scene back then in the day in Quebec or wherever you guys are from, or you guys are kind of charging up your own alley? Kind of?
We were definitely the pioneers, but it has become a big metal province, and now we cross paths with like Gorguts, Cryptopsy, Cataclysm, you name it, there are tons.
Lots of great Canadian bands.
Yeah, totally, yeah.
I wanted to ask you about the artwork a little bit, because that's kind of a huge part of Voivod and the albums and stuff like that. And I don't know if you've done all the albums, but yes, you've done all the album covers. Okay.
Yeah.
Talk a little about your art.
Yeah, I did the art for all the albums. When I was a teenager, I was very much into the magazine heavy metal with Moebius and all these great artists. And I wanted to draw for Heavy Metal magazine, and that's why I created the Voivod concept visually and the whole story as well. And it's only later that we decided to apply the concept to the music, and when we formed the band. So these are the sci-fi comics were my first influence.
All right. And since you've spent such a long time in the extreme music community, I just want to ask your thoughts on the state of it now as opposed to even 20, 30 years ago, and just your thoughts on the extreme music. And obviously this tour you're doing well, so, right?
We're doing well. We're actually doing better than 20 years ago in a sense. The mid-90s was the low point, I find, for metal in general. Now we go to South America or Asia or America or Europe, and there are tons of kids with thrash metal patches on. It's big. So we get to share stages with our friends from the 80s, Testament, Exodus, Megadeth. It is a blast now that we have moved into the classic thrash metal thing. It's cool.
Okay, as a drummer, I wanted to ask if you had some people you wanted to mention as other drummers that maybe either you really liked or influenced you, or...
My main influences were Filthy Animal Taylor from Motorhead, Clive Burr from Iron Maiden, and Terry Bozzio from Zappa. I try to combine the three of them into one style.
Well, you've come up with your own style for sure.
There were a lot of things I picked from punk music, mainly the tribal on the toms, I picked that up from punk rock, so it's a blend of everything. A lot of psychedelia in there as well.
It's a tough question probably for you, but do you have a favorite Voivod album?
I would say Killing Technology. I think is my favorite. It really represents all the aspects I like from Voivod, from gothic to punk to hardcore to metal, and yeah.
All right. I guess the last question, that's all I had for you. So if there's anything else you want to add, Capital Chaos TV people out there?
Well, we had a couple of slow years, but we're back in full force, so see you everywhere.
Chaos. Chaos.
Capital Chaos!
Capital Chaos TV.
Motherfucker.